Welcome, welcome, members of the public joining us from our waiting room. Thank you so much for being here today and joining our Civic Engagement Day 2025. First time we've done this as a virtual event, a virtual setting, and we hope it will be just as exciting, just as informational, and give you just as many opportunities to meet with city officials as the in-person event. My name is Andrea Patton. I work for the Disabilities Commission here in the city of Boston. And our goal really today is to tell you how to be involved in civic life here in Boston, whether you have a disability or not, but with a focus on how we make sure that engagement is accessible. I'm going to turn it over now to my boss, Commissioner Kristen McCosh, for a few words of welcome before I get into some of the logistics for today's event. Kristen?
Thanks, Andrea. Welcome, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us this evening for our first virtual civic engagement event for Boston City Hall. One of our big goals in the Disability Commission is really to engage people with disabilities in all aspects of life in the city of Boston. And one of the most important ways you can join is through civic engagement. We work really hard to stay in communication with folks about different city council hearings, about boards and commissions you could join, about getting out to vote, making sure voting places are accessible. So we do all this work, but we really want you to take advantage of the opportunities because we want your voices heard. We want you to have a seat at the table. What I do in my role is I lead the city's collective efforts toward accessibility and inclusion. We're in the E&I cabinet, which is the Equity Inclusion Cabinet, but we really work with all city departments across the spectrum, everything from elections to the streets cabinet to city council. We really try to coordinate and make sure that everything all the other departments does is accessible. That being said, we don't have all the answers and we don't know all the issues. So we really want to hear from you. What are you experiencing in your neighborhoods? How can you contribute to city government? So that's why this event is so important to us. We usually do it in person, but because of scheduling, we opted to do virtual this year. So welcome. I'm going to turn back to Andrea for some logistics, and I will be here the whole time for questions and conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McCosh. This is Andrea again. So we are going to dive right into our presenters. We have a truly fantastic panel today. They're going to get started and spend this first part of our event introducing themselves and what their department does, talking just a little bit about the ways that members of the public can get involved with what we do here at the city. And then we have breakout rooms. So for those of you who may have come to our in-person event in the past, you know that we have tabling. You can come here from the speaking program in the City Council chamber and then go out into the hall and talk one-on-one with city officials at their tables. So we are recreating that virtually. When they are done introducing themselves as part of our speaking program, we are going to send them all to breakout rooms, one department in each breakout room, and then we're going to open them up to you. You will have the power to join any breakout room you want because maybe you have questions about the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Advancement and what they do. And maybe you have questions about the planning department. You'll be able to talk one-on-one with the staff members about their programs, ask questions, get more information. So without further ado, I'm going to dive in and let our presenters present and tell you a little bit about the departments that they are here representing. So first, if I can find and pin her, first I'm going to ask our staff member representing the City Council's central staff, Michelle Goldberg, to tell you a little bit about the ways that you can get involved if you're interested in learning more about what city councilors do. Michelle?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the Commission, Commissioner McCosh and Andrea for inviting me to be here with you tonight. My name is Michelle Goldberg. I'm the staff director for the Boston City Council. In addition to serving as a contact for constituent services, as the legislative branch of Boston's government, the 13 city councilors create laws, review the city budget, and debate and discuss issues that matter to the residents of Boston through its legislative process. The council meets most Wednesdays at 12 to vote on issues and refer new issues to council committees for further discussion. The council's legislative work is based on the things that matter to the people of Boston. It can be things that people have brought to their attention specifically, or maybe based on trends that they've seen from being out in the neighborhoods or in the process of helping with constituent services. Your engagement with the city council helps inform this work at every stage of the process. So just a little bit about that process. The councilor and the mayor file matters for the council meeting each week, leading up to an agenda that comes out on Mondays. During the council meeting, if a matter isn't voted on, it gets referred to one of the council's committees. Once a matter is referred to committee, committees may hold hearings, working sessions, or meetings on it. The hallmark of a public hearing is to hear from experts and to hear from the public. Council hearing notices are posted on the city's public notice page and on the city council's website. We also have a distribution list you can sign up for to receive our notices and calendar in your email. If you come across a hearing topic that interests you, you can share your thoughts with the council in multiple ways. To put your testimony on the official record, you can write the committee an email or a letter, record a video, testify virtually via Zoom, or come and testify in person. More information and instructions for testifying are available on the council's website. If you don't feel like testifying but want to watch, you can come to City Hall to watch our in-person hearings or watch them via our online live stream or our TV broadcast. And all of our recordings are also posted on our video library to watch later. You can also engage with your counselors directly. You can email them individually to share your view on a pending matter. You can ask them to take up an issue not currently pending, or you can, of course, ask them for help with a constituent issue. You can call or come to City Hall to meet with the counselor or a member of their team. Every resident has a district counselor who represents their specific voting district and also has 4 at-large counselors who represent the whole city. But of course, you can also meet with any counselor you'd like. Regarding accessibility, we've come a long way in recent years. Our council chamber was renovated in 2014 by now mayor at the time, Council President Wu, including leveling the floor and adding a hearing loop. And since 2020, we've improved our ability to provide virtual access to many things and greatly expanded our language access capacities. But of course, we're always a work in progress. The commission is a really great partner to us in this work. But of course, you can also reach out to the counselors. You can reach out to me directly if you ever need support with an accommodation for a council hearing or with a counselor, or just have suggestions about how we can continue to improve. So in closing, please testify on the record. Please use your representatives, and please share with us your ideas to make the city better.
Thank you, Michelle, so much for sharing that. I know that there is so much work happening down on the 5th floor with the counselors, and I know how much they want to hear from the public. Thank you so much for highlighting all the accessibility improvements and the many ways that you as central staff provide so that those counselors can hear and converse with every member of the city of Boston. Thank you so much. If you have more questions about council, you'll be able to see Michelle in her breakout room. Great. Next up, I'm going to ask Blanca from the Office of Participatory Budgeting to talk a little bit about what that means. Maybe you want to vote on something and not just ask a city councilor to.
Everyone, my name is Blanca Texera. I am the finance manager for the Office of Participatory Budgeting. And thank you for having me. I look forward to hearing your questions after our presentation. Thank you. So what is participatory budgeting? Participatory budgeting is a democratic process where committee members decide how to spend a part of the public budget. PB advances the city goals around civic engagement and community collaboration by addressing barriers for public participation and decision-making in local government, evaluating resident information ideas that reflect their priorities and lived experiences, bringing communities and city governments together to foster a collective vision for Boston. The Office of Participatory Budgeting, our mission of the office is to provide an official point of entry for Boston residents to contribute to the city's budget process. Through partnerships with community organizations, collaborating with city departments, and guidance for our external oversight board, the office hosts yearly participatory budgeting cycles to allow for continuous public engagement. One, residents can propose project ideas to address local priorities. And second, city can gauge resident priorities to inform the annual budget process. So for cycle one, which started last July of 2024, and it ran through February 15th of 2025, we launched Ideas in Action. This is the office initiative. In July, we received 1,238 ideas were collected through multiple channels. 15 project proposals were drafted by Boston residents with support of the OPB and city departments. And we received 4,460 votes, which were collected during online and in-person voting. Out of these, we were able, so our office has, first cycle was $2 million. Second cycle will be $2.2 million. So for the first cycle, our top winning proposals, we had 6 of them, which I'll just read just some of them. Expand access to fresh foods in Boston. It's a second one was a rat prevention initiative. Third was programs to support incarcerated and formerly incarcerated youth. Rental assistance for Boston youth ages 16 to 24. The fifth one was to support community gardens in neighborhoods with limited access to affordable foods. And the sixth one was to install benches at high ridership public transit stops in Boston. So for cycle 2, our cycle starts in July. So this year was July 1st, 2025. And that phase is called Idea Collection. And this is when we work with community partners to help invite residents throughout the city to submit project ideas of priorities they want to see done throughout the city, any services, programs, things like that. Right now, from August to September, we review ideas, idea categories, which we work with data analytics in our department and review all the ideas that were submitted from July. Starting October to December, the office will be hosting what's called proposal development. And here we host forums. Last year we had 3 forums. This year we will have 5, where 3 of them are happening in October, where we ask residents to come in and to review all the ideas that were submitted and help pick which ideas they feel are have most priority. Once that happens, we host 2 extra forums in November, where we also invite residents to come in and start drafting some of these ideas to have them put on a ballot starting in January, which starts our voting process, and that runs from January 15th till February 15th. In the spring, we count up all the votes, and that's when the project funds are distributed to the correct departments that will oversee the implementation portion of it. Next slide. Sorry. So this year like I said, sorry, I just gotta click out of a comment. 30 plus idea collection activities were hosted across the city. In-person and virtual workshops were held, tabling at community events, and door knocking. And here's just a snapshot of what was collected and how we collected them in July. So we received 1,203 proposal ideas. 554 ideas came from city-sponsored events with community partners. 166 ideas were collected between City Hall, Boston Public Libraries, and BCYFs, about 10 BCYFs throughout the city. And then 483 ideas were submitted via the PB portal, which was our online portal, and our phone line. So how we asked the residents to engage. So October, like I mentioned earlier, we will be hosting 3 in-person proposal development forums. The first one will be October 14th, and these forums will go from 5:30 to 7:30. The first one will be held at the Mattapan Public Library. And the community priorities that we will be discussing is community resources, education, youth, families, and older adults, and public safety. The second proposal forum will be hosted on Thursday, October 23rd, same time, 5:30 to 7:30. And this will be at Maverick Landing Community Center's location. The community priorities that will be reviewed in this forum are arts and culture, local economy and worker empowerment, facilities, parks, and recreation. And the third proposal development forum will be October 27th, 5:30 to 7:30, and it'll be at the Charles View Community Center in Brighton, Mass. And the community priorities that will be discussed is health and well-being, environment, sustainability, food access, streets, and sidewalks. And for our last slide, this is our website, which is boston.gov/participate. I have other sites that I can share in the chat or in the breakout room if you guys want to find other ways to engage with our office. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blanca. That's such good information. I love the participatory budgeting project. It's not just people who work all day in City Hall who have good ideas for our city and who have good ideas for how to spend the public money. It's such an exciting project to be able to have. So thank you for sharing. If you have questions, we'll make sure we send you over to the Office of Participatory Budgeting breakout room when those open to ask more questions. Speaking of voting, yes, you can vote for your participatory budgeting ideas, but also every year or most years, Ian will tell us, you can also vote for who comes to City Hall to represent you and do the rest of the budgeting. So Ian, if you are ready, take it away and let us know how our elections, ways that people, and particularly people with disabilities, can engage with the city.
Hello, everyone. As Andrea said, I am Ian Flood. I work with the election department. I'm the civic engagement coordinator for the Boston Election Department. And I apologize, I don't have any slides right now. That's because we are pretty busy with preparing for the upcoming election. If you did not know, we have an election coming up on Tuesday, November 4th. This is the general municipal election where we will be electing.
Oh no, we seem to have lost Ian. We'll give him a second for the internet to come on. Otherwise, we can always circle back when there is a better connection. All right, we will come back to Ian. Elections is very important. We will make sure you don't miss any of the information Ian has for you. But we will move on to our next presenter and circle around. You may notice as you go around the city that we are constantly doing construction, whether it is the city itself working on our parcels, our buildings, or private developers building really big buildings. And a lot of those processes, even if they're private developers, do have a community engagement aspect. So here to talk to us a bit about what that means and what the planning department does, Christiana, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all for having us. My name is Christiana Lafusa. I am the Deputy Director of Community Engagement in the Planning Department. And I'm so excited to talk with you about planning and the many different ways you can get involved in shaping the future of your neighborhood and our city. So before we jump into how you can get involved and why it's important, I feel like when we say the word planning, it is often not clear what that means. So when I'm talking about planning, we are talking about the ways in which we as community and as the city shape what is around our neighborhood. So whether that is having your favorite small business just a short walk away, houses for families near public transportation, public art that's around, or plazas and outdoor spaces for people to have dinner or hang out outside. All of these are shaped by the city with you and your input to help us change the rules around what can be built and where. So in terms of our planning department, we have a couple of different key types of work that we do. So as Andrea mentioned, we look at new private development that is proposed to be built in our city. And we have a special process that is regulated through Article 80, which is a section of our zoning code. And as part of that, there's a whole series of public meetings and opportunities to write comment letters and share your feedback around how can we shape that new building and make sure it fits what is needed in your neighborhood. We also have our planning studies, where we look at a slightly larger area, whether it's an entire neighborhood or a section maybe around T-stop or where there's lots of buses. And we will have lots of conversations with community members to say, what do we want the future of this area to look like in terms of what is allowed to be built here, or how do we want to help support people in being able to travel around in the ways in which they choose. We also have a team of urban designers who help shape what these different new places will look like. What are the colors of these spaces that help us make it feel like home? What are the specific shapes of those buildings, whether it be triple deckers or apartments or something else that allows for people to stay here and move here, but also continues to look and feel like home. And then our real estate team looks at our city-owned land and works really closely with community members to think about, what do we want here? Do we want a park here? Do we want housing here? What are the other key things that we want to bring into our space? So in terms of how you can get involved, there are sort of three main ways. You can show up to our public meetings. So similar to this one, they are often held on Zoom, but are sometimes in person somewhere in the neighborhood. And at those meetings, you will hear a little bit of information about a project, and you have an opportunity to provide spoken comment. If you prefer to send us something in writing, you can always write us a comment letter and tell us what are some things we should know about, how can we make this really work for you. And I would say that often our disability community members give us really helpful and important feedback to really make sure that the buildings and spaces are being shaped in ways that are accessible and welcoming to all. And sometimes there are surveys or other sort of easy to engage with ways to share what you think and ask us questions. So we hope that you join us in some of our upcoming meetings. I'll share our website page in the chat, along with our calendar, where you can see all of the many different upcoming meetings and events going on. And then the third link that I'm going to share is to sign up for our calendar or sign up for our newsletter or emails about upcoming projects in your neighborhood. So I would say that we've been doing lots of work over the past couple of years to really update the ways in which we engage. And we recently held a focus group with some members of the disability community, which we really appreciated getting some important feedback to shape the ways in which we do our engagement. So we hope you show up to one of our meetings, come and talk to us and learn more about the different ways to get involved in shaping what the future of Boston looks like. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Christiana. I know you all have done so much work recently to make the community engagement aspect of planning easier, more consistent, more understandable than it had ever been before. And so I hope everyone will stop on by, talk to Christiana and colleague Manavi in their breakout room to learn just a little bit more about planning. Thank you so much. And I see we have better connection, hopefully, for Ian from the elections department. So we will send it right back over to Ian to learn a little bit more about elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So I'm not sure how far I got before I cut out, but I'm Ian Flood. I'm the Civic Engagement Coordinator at the Election Department. And we do have a very big election coming up on Tuesday, November 4th. The city will be holding our general municipal election, where we will elect our mayor as well as all of our city councilors. This election, we've been preparing for it for, the past year. And I just wanted to highlight some of the ways that everyone can participate and vote because everyone should be able to vote. As long as you're 18, a Massachusetts resident, and a U.S. citizen, we want you to vote in November. So I just want to highlight that we have 275 precincts all around the city. So one should be very close to you, your location. All of them are accessible, and all of them have what we call the AutoMark machine at each location. That is a ballot marking device. If you or someone you know has difficulty marking a ballot, the AutoMark machine is a way to mark your ballot so that you can vote. Additionally, there are other ways to vote beyond just voting on election day. I personally vote by mail. Many people in the department also vote by mail. There's also absentee voting, which is similar, but when you sign up to vote absentee, you can actually check off if you'd like an electronic ballot delivered to you. And so that is a way that you can actually just vote on your computer. Your ballot will be sent to you through a secured email portal, and then you'll send it right back once you've selected your candidates, and it'll be recorded by us at the election department. Additionally, you can vote in person at the election department if you're an absentee voter. Anytime up until the day before the election. Once we have our ballots printed, we'll let you do that. And all of these deadlines are a good ways away. So if you are interested in voting by mail or voting in-person absentee or electronically, we just ask that you make sure that you apply to do so by Tuesday, October 28th at 5 p.m. You can apply on the election department website, which is boston.gov/election. And you can also check your voter registration by going to boston.gov/election or voteinma.com. I'm going to put that in the chat because I think that website in particular is the most important one that I'm going to give you. But voteinma.com is the website that the Secretary of the Commonwealth uses to sign up for vote by mail, absentee ballots, finding out where your polling location is, updating your registration. So I encourage you all to go to that. I believe I've hit everything that I wanted to hit. Please vote. We have so many different ways to do it. I encourage you all to vote on Tuesday, November 4th. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ian. That is all such important information. If you've never voted, by mail, by email, or used the AutoMark machine, and you're thinking, wow, I thought voting would be really hard because I'd have to go to this big scary building with all these stairs. I understand why you might feel that way, but the Boston Elections Department has done so much to give you all these options to vote. So thank you, Ian. If you have more questions about exactly what the electronic ballot is or the auto mark, that's why Ian will be in at the elections department breakout room for you. Thank you so much. Just 2 more left to go, and not the only people in the city that do community engagement, but definitely do some fantastic work. I'm going to send it over to the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Advancement. They've got some really fantastic programs to help Bostonians of all types, especially immigrants, to really understand that this city is also a city where we want to hear from them. So Hawa, take it away.
Thank you, Andrea. Hi, everybody. My name is Hawa Yusuf. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Civic Engagement Project Manager for the Mayor's Office for Immigrant Advancement, also known as MOIA. We like to use acronyms here at City Hall. And I'm going to just look this way because that's where my screen is. Our office was created back in 1998, so we're about 27 years old, or 28, I'm sorry. And we were called the Mayor's Office of New Bostonians, and we had to change our name because sometimes people from New Jersey would come into Boston and they're like, I'm a new Bostonian. And I'm like, well, this office is not really for you. It's for immigrants who have recently arrived, have been here for 20 plus years, or who are first or second generation immigrants. So anyone who identifies as an immigrant. We're also part of the Equity and Inclusion Cabinet with the Disability Commission. And so like them, we want to ensure that immigrants have the same access to services that all residents enjoy. And we also promote and highlight the contributions of the immigrant community. I want to talk about a few programs that our office offers. One of them is Immigrancy Boston. It's a civic academy for immigrants who want to learn how to navigate local government. It's a 10-week course that happens annually. We're in the midst of our 6th cohort right now. And we started back in August, and we're going to wrap up in late October. And they're also going to do a community action project at the end of the program. So what they learn in this 10-week program is what the city has to offer, the different services, the different resources, how to become an advocate. We also learn about public narrative, how to tell your story and how that's connected to your advocacy. One of our speakers is here actually that was a guest speaker during our last cohort, Michelle Goldberg, who gave a really great presentation about City Council. So they get to learn about the mayor's office, City Council side, and everything in between. So it's a really intensive time commitment for the cohort, and we usually have up to 30 participants. Right now, we're currently in session, so there's no application open, but I'm going to give, at the end of this, a link to our newsletter so you can sign up and find out when the next iteration of the program is. It'll probably be next summer. We also have the Immigrant Youth Advancement Program, which is a work experience opportunity for immigrant youth, regardless of their immigration status. In the summer, they can get work experience for 6 weeks and earn up to $1,755. And the work experiences vary. We work with about 32 different nonprofit organizations across the city of Boston, and they do different things from legal access. There's one organization that has a summer camp. There's another organization called Pierce Park Sailing that teaches kids how to sail and takes them out into the waters. So the experiences are very, very different and cool, interesting. There are a few like eligibility requirements. You have to be between the ages of 14 to 24 and currently a BPS student. But right now, the summer work experience applications are also not open, but enrollment starts in early 2026. So there's a QR code here. If you have your phone, you can scan it. But again, I'll try to drop the links in our breakout rooms. We also have a newsletter for this program, another acronym, Immigrant Youth Advancement. We call it AYA. And AYA has a monthly newsletter for youth who want to learn about college, college access, different career readiness and job opportunities, like trades, entrepreneurship. Again, this program is offered to immigrant youth regardless of their immigration status. And then lastly, I want to talk about our You Belong Here placemaking campaign. I did see someone here, I think Christian had the poster in her background. We have this poster here. I don't know if you can see it, it's blurred, but it's on there. We also have stickers, which are smaller. But this is a campaign that our office is doing to ensure that everyone knows that Boston is your home and that you belong here. We have it in 11 different languages. Each of the posters and the stickers have a QR code. And once you scan the QR code, it takes you to resources that our office has, including like our free immigration consultations that we do twice a month, some Know Your Rights training, some family preparedness. So it's a whole lot of resources. They're free, and we want to make sure that that everyone knows here in the city of Boston that they belong. And in this slide, it just shows some of the pictures that we have across the city. We also have them on billboards, and it's a huge effort on our part to ensure that, again, everyone knows that they belong here. And then lastly, we do have a newsletter. If you go to our website, boston.gov/immigrants, and scroll down a little bit, there's a section called Sign Up for Our Newsletter, and you just need to put your email address and zip code, and then you can get updates about these programs that I mentioned, Immigrant Lead Boston, Immigrant Youth Advancement Program. We also have different grant opportunities. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'll see you all in the breakout rooms. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hawa, for sharing. I know you all do such incredible work. As you mentioned, your Immigrants Lead Boston program isn't accepting applications this moment, but you will. So if you have questions about that, please still go to the breakout rooms. Please still get on that mailing list so that you yourself or someone you know can be ready to jump on that really exciting opportunity when it next opens up. Okay. Last but certainly not least, just as Moya works with folks in the immigrant community, we have lots of departments in the city that work directly with people. And we have a really fantastic youth leadership council called Spark. And so I'm going to ask Aiden to tell us a little bit about what the Spark Council does.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aiden McDonough. I'm the director of Spark Boston. Mayor Michelle Wu's 20 to 35-year-old volunteer civic leader council. For those who may be familiar with it, the program was initially called 1 in 3 and was created back in 2004 under Mayor Menino. At that time, for every 3 Bostonians, 1 fell between the ages of 20 and 35. And that number has now since increased to roughly 40% of Boston's population. Each year, we put out an open application for members of this age demographic to apply and then move on to interview rounds where they can secure a seat on what is this 40-person council. We strive to have representation from all of Boston's 22 neighborhoods, and we have members of our council who are fresh out of undergrad to those who are starting and building their families here in Boston. Our programming is wide-ranging. We have our neighborhood socials, where it's an opportunity to network with neighbors and other community leaders, such as nonprofits and civic associations, to then more robust policy-driven conversations to talk with city leaders about what's going on and how and what 20 to 35-year-olds hope to see coming out of these departments. We have multiple ways to get involved as well through volunteer opportunities that council members have either created with other community city hall departments or outside entities that are local to Boston in ways and creative ways to get involved. I'm going to drop a link in the chat, which is an opportunity for you to look up your local leaders and your local representatives from your city councilors, but to as well as your Office of Neighborhood Services liaisons. Now, as an alumni to the program, I did this in 2018 to 2019. It was one of the most beneficial experiences for myself. I got to meet so many people within my age demographic across the city of Boston, and it really opened up my understanding of the opportunities here in the city. By using this link and getting connected with your ONS liaison, you then can have the opportunity to then subscribe to their newsletters, but then as well as have opportunities to sit with and engage with them to have a more direct connection to our community engagement cabinet. Now, besides getting involved with our Spark programming, we also encourage you to actively become a participant in your civic associations and attend them. You can also introduce yourself to neighbors and build connections through your local neighborhood. You can volunteer your time and skills in nonprofits and civic associations that are local and important to you. But most importantly, you can get out and vote and make sure that you are helping to shape Boston's future. Now, as I mentioned, we have an open application season that happens usually towards the months of May and June. So while we have as of late, there's many ways that you can get involved before our next open application season. I'll have other ways that you can get involved, as well as you can follow us through our social media channels or get connected directly to your Office of Neighborhood Services newsletter. But I can share all that in our breakout room.
Thank you, Aiden. It's such great work and such a wonderful opportunity that the Spark Council has. I said youth, and I meant young adults as someone still in that age group or young adults, although there are ways for youth to get involved in the city as well. So if you have more questions, you think maybe you want to join the Spark Council, maybe you just want to meet some members, maybe you heard Civic Association and wasn't sure what that meant, you'll be able to join Aiden in the Spark Council breakout room. Whew, a lot of information. We just threw so much at you, but we hope that something sparked your interest, some way to get involved in the city here. Before we go over to the breakout rooms and before I talk a little bit about the technical aspects, if you've never been in a Zoom breakout room, I want to send it once more to my boss, Kristen McCosh, for some closing words.
Thanks, Andrea. I was just going to say the same thing. That was a whole lot of information, and it really energized me for the work that I do, because this is one of our favorite events every year. We love to see involvement from the disability community, and that's really what we're here to help facilitate. So please take advantage of all of these opportunities to get involved. And more than that, spread the word to your friends, your family, your communities. It doesn't have to just be people with disabilities. It could be friends, family members, allies of the disability community. Everybody's welcome to participate. And on that note, we also have an advisory board that's made up of 13 Boston residents with disabilities or family members of people with disabilities. And we currently have 3 open seats. So if anyone's interested in applying for our advisory board, we can email the information out to you after this info session. They hold public meetings once a month on a Wednesday evening on Zoom. And we're always looking for people from different neighborhoods, diverse backgrounds, diverse disabilities. So if you have any interest at all, please send us an email. You can email us at disability@boston.gov. And like I said, we will send information following the session. I'll send it back to Andrea.
Thanks, Commissioner. Yes, we do have an advisory board ourselves, and we will be here in the main room to answer questions about that. But we really wanted to make sure that you could meet all the other departments today to know that even if you identify as a person with a disability, just because you are a person with a disability doesn't mean you only have to join the Disability Advisory Board. If you're involved in disability advocacy, absolutely come join us. always call our office. But we also want to make sure that disabled voices, disabled perspectives are at every level of city government. And I know all of these staff members feel that way as well.